I'm Jenna.
And I'm Stephanie.
And you are listening to Pastors' Wives Tell All,
a podcast by pastors' wives for church leaders and anyone desiring to take a peek inside our glass house.
We are breaking down walls and crushing pastors' wives stereotypes within the church.
We want pastors' wives and other ministry leaders to know that they are not alone in this. Plus, this is basically therapy for the three of us with a whole lot of dance parties. Woo,
Hey friends, welcome back to Pastors' Wives Tell All, and happy summer.
Yes,
isn't it?
Summer.
Yes,
Okay,
isn't it beautiful outside? So we've got something a little fun for you for this bonus episode this summer. Our good friend, Dr. Josh Morgan, he was on the podcast back in the spring. He is here with us again, but the tables have turned. Josh is going to be interviewing us. So you might learn something a little new about us. You never know. And for those who have never listened before, you can meet us for the very first time.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm slightly nervous about the things that he's gonna ask us.
Oh,
It's different being on the other side.
Yeah, we'll just see what comes out. Well, welcome, Josh.
Hi, guys. How are you? You doing all right?
Fantastic.
Doing lovely.
Yeah.
And we're wearing our new merch. If you're on YouTube,
You can see.
we have already launched this. And then some of our older merch, Josh is wearing as well.
Yeah, Josh, show him.
Show the people.
Nice.
Yes. Josh is a discipleship pastor. So his t-shirt is his wife's t-shirt, but he's wearing it today. It says dibs on the discipleship pastor.
I know.
Isn't that nice?
You need to make him a
I'm getting it
special
stretched
t-shirt.
out for her.
I know. Josh needs a t-shirt.
Okay, Josh, we're going to let you take it away.
Yeah, thanks, man. A little bit of backstory for this is when I got to be on y'all's podcast, I had so much fun and I was answering all your questions and I just kept thinking, I would love to hear what you guys think about this. I'd love to hear more about you and y'all and y'all's story. And so I just was thinking, gosh, it'd be so much fun I'm assuming for your listeners too, just to hear you guys and more about your story. So I really appreciate you guys having me back on to do this. This is going to be fun.
Yes.
We're excited too.
I think the easiest place for me to start is I would love to hear a little bit more of y'all's story. Specifically, I want to know how you guys met. Like, give me some of the origin story to the Pastors' Wives Tell All.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jenna and Jessica have known each other for a while because Jenna's husband led worship for Jessica and her husband's youth group way back in the day. But they started really building a friendship probably back 2016 and started doing coffee together and doing different things, realizing that they got along really well and they were both kind of weird and funny. So it works, right,
That's
guys?
true.
Totally
We are
works.
weird and funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how I came in the picture is in 2019, I felt the Lord saying something about bringing the church together, starting with the women. Didn't know what that meant. Didn't know what that would look like. But of course, like as I am my personality, I was like, I'm going to make this happen. Let's see. Women's conference. Let's do it. It can be a whole community conference, not just my church, but all the churches. And so I started asking around for other leaders, like female leadership in other churches in our area. And I had a mutual friend of mine and Jessica's say, have you met Jessica Taylor? Do you know her? Because she's a pastor's wife at Village Church and she is good at everything. You need her on your team. And I'm like, yes, I do. Where
Which
is
is
she?
not
Bring her
true,
to
by the
me.
way.
It is
true.
mostly true.
Okay, we're
Yes.
going to keep going.
She's good at just about everything. Anyway, blessed and highly favored. Okay, so yes,
I hate you right now.
but she loves me.
Keep talking. I love
So,
you.
Yes. So we ended up meeting and hit it off right away. And we met technically via phone call, talked for over an hour just about everything. And I got off the phone and I looked at my husband and I said, oh my gosh, I want her to be my friend. I don't want to mess it up. And then she asked me,
Kindred spirit.
Yeah.
and then she asked me to coffee and I was like, woo, friendship date, first date. And once again, was very nervous, but went in there. It just felt so easy whenever we chatted and talked. And she said, yeah, let's do this women's conference. And she had so many good ideas. And I would constantly call her and ask for her opinion before I would anybody else's, just because I knew she had this heart for the Lord and she had a lot of wisdom. I could just tell that right off the bat. And then through our friendship, she ended up introducing me to Jenna, and we started chatting via Instagram. I would be like, hey, how did you do your makeup or this or that or whatever? And then it was just very like normal to chat. I don't know. It felt very comfortable. And so we just each all started building friendships. And then, of course, the women's conference never ended up happening because of COVID. But in the midst of that, probably January 2020 or so, I looked at them and this other thought came to my mind. I was like, hey, what if we started a podcast called The Very Worst Preacher's Wife? And we talked about we talked, because I'm thinking I had been struggling for years and I thought, I have gone through so much and I know they have too. I know they don't feel like they fit the mold of a typical pastor's wife. Like, what if we talked about that? We started a podcast. I don't know who will listen, but we could try it out and just see if it resonates with anybody, just the struggles, the good things, the whatever. And from that, I don't know, God took it and blew it up. And Jessica was the one that looked at us and she's like, no, I got it. It's Pastor's Wives Tell All. We gonna tell it all. And that's a podcast I would want to listen to.
Yeah.
Is what she said.
That's right.
And so we did.
Yeah.
And friendship and all of that
awesome.
all together grew.
Yeah, that's great. How much of that initial phone call with Jessica was like, at what point, who made like the first funny voice or cracked the first joke? Like, at what point did it start to become funny? Like what time through, what percentage? And then how much of that call was?
I actually remember where I was. I don't remember the funny. I remember I was pacing around my pool because it felt good outside, but like our normal talk is pretty, unless we're talking about serious things and we're listening, we're talking seriously, but then there's always saying something funny about our own self or that kind of stuff. I don't know if there was like joking around and teasing with each other as much as I would say something funny or she would say something funny about her own self. But that's pretty much like our normal personality with all three of us, is that no matter who we're around, we're still either cracking jokes at ourselves or others, or just, trying to be goofy. But I would say it took a while before we entered in, like it took Jenna and I a while, because I remember like the first time going like, wow, it is so good that I can completely be myself around a human other than my husband. He knows how just absolutely crazy I am, and my parents and that kind of stuff. So it's like you find your people when you can completely strip everything down and be completely who you are, and they still love you.
Yeah. And Jenna, did you tell Stephanie that she reminded you of somebody when y'all had that first Instagram interaction?
For those of you who have no idea what we're talking or what he's talking about, we think he looks like Al Borland from Home Improvement. I think he looks like Al Borland. A distant cousin,
A distant cousin.
Or he could be your uncle. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if I've ever thought about Stephanie looking like someone. We do joke sometimes that she could be like Cindy Lou Who. Like,
I thought you were going to go with the
Carrey's. I mean, she could be Jim Carrey's.
She can do some Jim Carrey impressions, like her facial expressions.
Does that make you feel better about being like Al? I'm a girl and I look like Jim Carrey.
I didn't say you look like him. I said your facial expressions.
Yeah. So at what point, this is fun because I think what y'all tapped into is something it's kind of hard for people who are trying to put stuff out on social media, but y'all do a really great job at your personality coming out through like your content. And so was that something that y'all kind of decided from the very beginning, or did y'all have to kind of find your way into that where you were doing like the silly things or the dances? And it's cool how y'all bridge that to like pretty deep, serious conversations sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how did that kind of develop as you guys were getting to know each other?
I think it was stories. I think when the podcast started, we came into our story, especially on Instagram, as being completely ourselves. Like I remember late at night, one of us was having a bad day. I think it was you. And we took Stephanie and kidnapped her and took her to Starbucks late at night. And literally did we dare each other?
Yes, we did dares.
We were circling around my vehicle or somebody's vehicle at night at Starbucks, singing loud. And we were videotaping all of this and put it on stories. Yep, that's who we are. We are just not fake humans.
Right.
Like,
and we did set that precedent from the beginning.
Yes.
We were like, we are not going to pretend to be somebody else.
Yeah.
And we're not going to act differently just so we can
Get
gain
followers.
or reach people. Like we're going to be ourselves because
Yeah.
that's who we are.
Because we knew
Yeah.
our friendship and what God had created and for this moment was to help pastors' wives, but also it was to help us. He brought us together to help us and to give us something that we were longing for. And so we were just going to be ourselves, and ministry was just organically, it was just happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sure.
I can see how that would connect with a lot of people out there for sure. So it's awesome. I love it. I've really enjoyed. I feel like getting to know you guys through your content. So thanks for putting it out there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh. We
Appreciate it.
Okay. So Jenna, I have a question for you. Okay, you ready?
Okay. I'm scared. Just a little bit.
Here we go. Rapid fire. All right. Would you rather have a mic left on during a bathroom break or trip and fall walking up on the stage on Sunday?
Ooh, I'm thinking I would rather trip and fall up the stairs. Yeah.
Okay. Which of the two is more likely to say something on the podcast that needs to be edited out between the other two?
Jessica.
Okay. Has that happened before?
100%.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then finally, who of the three of you has the most dramatic prayer requests?
Oh.
Dramatic.
Dramatic.
The request of prayer.
I don't know.
I know who I would say.
I mean, is it me? I don't know. Like, I don't feel like I ask for prayer
I want to
requests
know what
often.
Jessica thinks.
I was gonna go with you.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just do that. I'm just going to go along with Jessica on this one.
Good job. All right. That was our first round of rapid fire.
Interesting.
That was fun. If you're not watching on YouTube, the lights changed in the background. I need you to teach us how to be cool like you.
That's why I was late. That's why I was late to the Zoom call because I was trying to
so
get all that
cool.
set up for you guys.
We appreciate that.
I love
Yes.
it.
Okay, cool. Well, that was your first round of rapid fire. All right.
Okay.
So, it's neat when you hear about ministry stories that seem to kind of organically happen because I think it's exciting to look at that and go, yeah, I feel like God's doing this. You know, you don't have to. It doesn't feel like you don't have to wonder if you're like kind of creating this. It's more like God's doing this. We're just trying to be faithful to it, which is always exciting.
Yeah.
And so one of the questions I had was when it comes to being specifically a pastor's wife, what's one thing people tend to assume about being a pastor's wife that you guys think is like totally wrong?
Well, I think a big one that we hear, and there's so many, so y'all kind of jump in too, but a big one is that you have to look a certain way, act a certain way, be at everything there is to be at the church.
And play the piano.
Play the piano. You can't have tattoos.
No.
Well, that's not us. You know,
Yeah.
We've got lots of those.
All of you guys, all three of you have tattoos.
All three.
We have matching
We have
tattoos.
matching
I was
tattoos.
gonna ask if y'all had matching tattoos. Okay,
Yeah,
what
We
is
do.
it?
It's our birth flowers. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Y'all all have the same birth flower?
No.
They're all
Mm-mm.
different.
They're all different on the same vine because we're connected through Christ and our ministry and what he's done.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're saying it's kind of like there's like a cookie cutter pastor's wife type of mold.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. You don't fight with your husband.
Yeah.
Oh,
Your kids are perfect.
You guys
Everything's
don't
great.
fight?
Oh, yes, I do.
Man, I bet that's epic.
I was
Who
born to fight.
of the three couples, would you say you have the most epic fights then?
Epic fights. I would say back in our 20s. I mean, if there was a camera in our house in our 20s, literally I would annoy him to death and he would go lock himself in a room just to calm down. And I would knock on the door for however long.
Yeah.
And then I even laid down on the ground one time and was talking underneath the door.
Yeah.
We are going to talk this out.
Sliding notes under there.
Yeah. So I would say the thing is about our fights is they are actually pretty humorous most of the time. Not all the time, but there's just something about our fights that somehow are just great.
And there are times when they will, I say play fight because Jonathan just likes to pick and just go crazy for a minute. And it'll sound like they're really fighting. And me and Stephanie are like, should we go?
And then all of a sudden they're
into
laughing.
another room?
And we're like,
and then they're laughing. Yeah.
The girls came in this morning to our bathroom and Jonathan was just on a roll this morning. I mean, he was even leaving them voice messages, but he was just goofy. And he yelled one time and it's like, don't you? And when it was Grace or Olivia came in the bathroom, it's like, is Dad okay this morning? I was like, yeah, he's super crazy goofy this morning. We heard him yell and we were like, and I was like, no, he was like literally telling a joke and thought he was really funny. And they're like, oh, okay. I was like, see, a lot of times y'all think he's mad when he's really not. He just likes to go serious funny.
I would say they would have the most epic fights though.
Yeah.
If it was a for real fight, I just feel in my soul.
I would want to
it's
eat some popcorn and just be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, 100%.
That's awesome. How long have each of you guys been married?
Fun fact, me and Jessica and our husbands, we all have the same anniversary. So July 12th.
But different years.
But we will be married 17 years this July.
Yeah.
22 years in July.
18 years in August.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We our anniversary is the 26th of May, so coming up soon, and that's 18 years for us too.
Yeah.
Yay.
Happy
Thank
anniversary
you.
almost.
Yeah, thank you. When it comes to fighting, arguing, communicating, that's golly something I feel like we're still having to learn. I don't feel like we were set up. I don't feel like I was super set up well to have good, healthy like conflict and arguments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, me neither.
So is that something you guys feel like y'all have had to kind of grow and develop, and you're still learning as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. We didn't have conversations a whole lot about conflict growing up. So that's definitely something I've had to learn to walk through in marriage for sure.
Yeah, definitely learning it real time right now.
Yeah.
In this moment.
I would say the biggest thing is just knowing your partner so well that you know how they tick. I think early on, I just wanted to tick him off. Like, because I was mad, I wanted to make him mad.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's wrong. So I'm going to push his buttons until he knows that he is wrong. And even throw out the dreaded thing that do not ever throw out is, you're a pastor. Start acting like it. Like I mean, like that, my little Enneagram 8 self has said some very harsh things early on in life. And so, those are things to go, no, that's not like actually helping anything. I'm just being a total jerk. And so I think like learning that he just needs space and I need to give him space. And where I want to talk things out, he needs to learn to come back and talk things out with me, because I want things to be over, because I don't like fighting. Like, let's talk it out and be done.
Yeah.
And we do talk about the Enneagram a lot to be used as a tool, not a weapon or a shield. It's just kind of, fun. But that truly, like personally, has helped mine and my husband's marriage so much. Like learning, the ins and outs of each other's personalities and being able to realize, okay, well, he's not doing that just to make me mad. Like this is how he's wired. So it allows us to give more grace to each other along the way.
Yeah. Jessica said she's more of like the pursuer. Her husband's more of the retreater. So Jenna, which one do you feel like you are?
If there's an argument or like a disagreement or something, I want to talk it out and figure it out immediately. Okay. And my husband is 100% the retreater.
Okay.
He's a 9. He's the peacekeeper. He wants to stay quiet for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What about you, Stephanie?
I mean, I think I'm more the one that's wanting to like fix things and get them done and over with. And he's got to like process before he says something, which he always says, like, if I say something now, I'm going to say something I regret. I got to sit for a minute.
Yeah. So. Interesting. Now that's interesting, because that's me. I should process more before I start talking, but I also just want to like fix it. So I've had to learn both of those things, to give my wife space and to also take some time to actually make sure I don't make it worse. By trying to jump in too soon. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, cool. So as you guys get to know each other better, you guys have known each other for a while now. I'm sure y'all been getting to know some funny things about one another. I'd love to hear a little bit about kind of funny, like church stories, And so I'm sure you guys have some of those things, but does anything come to mind as a pastor's wife that it's just like one of the funniest or like the weirdest things that's ever happened to you or at your church involving you?
I feel like, Jessica, you have stories just because I've heard stories from Jonathan about some situations, like the sword.
Oh, well, this is, it definitely does not have to do with me, but like we are in a church in the middle of a community, a lower income community. And so sometimes anyone and everyone will walk in our church doors on a Sunday morning. And I think one of the funniest times was when a man walked in with a sword, a legit sword.
Yeah.
And then wanted to give it to Jonathan after he just brought it out. And Jonathan was like, what is happening? And I think that was,
Like attached to his hip,
No,
or
it
he
just
was
was like
carrying it?
he was carrying it
Golly,
and just
ready to
put
rock
it on the
and roll.
info booth. And I was just, I wish that I could have been there for
Yeah.
the initial to see Johnson's reaction, because I am sure that it was really great. But
Yeah.
like for me, I think the most embarrassing moments usually are around texting the wrong group of people. So it's just, you know, your inner circle can no jokes, and I can say things a certain way, and there's no judgment.
Yeah.
But when you put that out to a group of 25 that you just made, you know, for a prayer request, and, you know, there's church board members on it and leaders and pastors' wives, and you put funny jokes out that were just for your inner circle. Those are moments that, you know, you wish you could crawl in a hole and die. But so, yeah, I've had a lot of stuff.
Oh.
I've been sitting here trying to think. I'm going to say a quick one, and then I'll tell you the one that I actually told somebody yesterday because it randomly came up. In mine and my husband's like early years of ministry, my husband was leading worship for a like a youth group, and he told everybody to stand up and crap instead of clap. And I'm sitting in the back like, I wish that I had like some sort of electric like buzzer where I could just like zap him every time he says something crazy, because that wasn't the first time he had said something funny. So that was funny. But then me personally, all I can think about is when we spoke at River Valley Church in Minnesota. They told us, you know, okay, it's time for y'all to go wait side stage and then go up when we tell you to, when we were going on stage. And I was the first one to go up. And I looked back and somebody motioned for me to go ahead, or I thought they did. And I just started to walk up the stairs, and I'm on the stage, you know, just like not all the way on the stage, but
Just
you
on
know,
the side.
I had finished walking up the stairs.
This is a large
And
church.
I looked down and they're both standing there just looking at me. And I was like, okay. So I had to turn around and go back
I
down the
followed
stairs.
you. I was at the bottom of the stairs, but I followed you because then Jessica wasn't, so I stopped.
wasn't gonna
And I was
follow
like,
you.
what's happening?
Well,
No, dog.
it was embarrassing. It felt like it was just me because I was the first one.
Oh, 100%.
And this was, there were like 1,000 women there. So it was quite mortifying.
Was there music playing? Like, was it during time of worship or anything?
It was,
there was people speaking.
there was somebody like
They were
talking.
There's two
at this
women that
time.
were doing the.
They were about to introduce us. So they
Yeah.
were kind of giving an intro, and I don't know what happened. It was all a blur, honestly.
Okay.
But it was quite
If
embarrassing.
it ever happens and it's music, you can just
right.
kinda,
Just,
like, lean
Just
into
feeling
it.
that spirit.
Yeah, just pretend like you're-
Time.
Yes,
Time to go
Feeling
preach.
the spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's funny.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. Something entertaining or funny or embarrassing or I don't know if I have anything, but well, I can tell you something that was funny to me.
Yeah.
The other day, last week, our air conditioner at the church, one of the units caught on fire. So we ended up having to meet at our house with the teenagers in the college and career last Wednesday. And somehow after Bible study, the talk turned to the hottest dads and the hottest moms in the church.
Wow.
Top 5. I made the top 5, guys.
Hey.
Nice.
I was in another room and I heard them and I was like, what is happening right now?
she still got it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. We just
so
snapped at
great.
the same time, by the way. That was great.
I love it.
It's hilarious. Do you guys ever think of, you know, if you had like a reality show or something, you know, about your story, about your friendships, like what maybe the good title for that reality show would be called? You ever brainstorm stuff like that?
Pastors' wives act stupid? I don't know.
Yeah.
What would it be?
Didn't we have somebody contact us about potentially being on a reality
Yeah,
TV show?
we never knew if it was real or not, but yeah, they did ask
But
us.
we decided that was not a good idea.
No.
We decided we wanted to keep our friendship
Wow.
and our
Yeah,
churches.
don't sign anything until you find out if it's
For
real.
sure.
or not.
Right.
For sure.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I
awesome.
feel like it would just be, you know, pastor's family tell all. I mean,
Pastors' wives tell all in the real world.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Pastors'
That's all.
wives in the real.
In
the
real.
wild.
In the wild.
There
Yes.
you go.
Pastors' wives
There
in
it
the
is.
wild.
That's what it would be, because it would
In
be
the
wild.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pastors' wives in the wild.
I like it.
That's
Okay.
hilarious.
Unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
That's awesome. I bet there's a lot of people that would watch that.
I think so.
I think
too.
so.
Yeah,
too,
we've just,
actually.
you know how we've talked about this too. Like that would be such a cool opportunity, but then also how bad it could be.
Mhm.
Because we've
Right.
seen other families just, you know, you think about all the reality shows that have happened over the years where it was, oh, we're going to have a ministry. And then all hell breaks
Mhm.
loose.
Yeah.
I just feel like everything goes wrong. Their families fall apart. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know that that's a good
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah,
know?
sure.
Sure,
Well, and
that's-
if they start to script it, I'd be like, "No, dog, I'm gonna say what I want to say. You ain't telling me how to live my life. You know, like
Right,
it wouldn't go well
right.
with a director.
Mm-mm.
yeah, then you'd have to be acting. And
Yeah, I mean, we would like to do that too, but not
Not like that.
Not
Yeah,
in that way.
Mm.
Yeah.
We need someone to follow us around, and so we can just have a YouTube channel.
yeah. That would. I think people would watch that.
Like
that's for sure.
vlogging would
Vlogging would be fun, but just
more our
us,
style.
not necessarily our kids. And
Yeah.
we don't want to
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Like,
Gotta
yeah,
be careful
I
about
mean,
that.
I could just come to Alabama and I could just follow you
Right.
guys around with
Just
my
follow
phone.
us
For
around.
sure,
You'd
for
be
sure.
so
Yeah.
entertained.
Yeah,
Ask
you
you
would.
questions.
You would be very entertained.
No, I'd be the camera guy. Love you.
We're gonna get us one of those little DJI Pocket video things, and we're gonna start vlogging. It's gonna happen one
Like
day.
literally, if we just had it in our car when we go on our road trips,
Yes.
people would be so
Road trips are
entertained.
like road trips are the best. But
That could be a YouTube channel in and of itself. It's
It
just,
really could.
just
For
when you
sure.
guys take road trips, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
it's so
Hey,
great.
those videos, that's awesome. All right, Jessica, I got a question for you. You ready? Here we go.
I'm ready.
Ready?
All right, Jessica, would you rather have a church member comment on every outfit you wear
Mhm.
or every meal you eat when they see you out in public?
Outfit.
Okay. That wasn't a great question, I don't think.
No,
Which
I liked it.
of-
I liked it.
if one of the other two were late to the podcast recording, what's the most likely reason? Who would be late and what's the most likely reason?
Stephanie would be late, and it would be like maybe someone's coming over to her house, so she has to clean, and it's just so crazy getting the kids home school and getting Bryce to school. Oh, and blah blah blah. That.
Okay. You're
so
like
true.
super quick at this. Is rapid fire. Good for you. Okay.
Good job.
last
Less than
question.
highly favored.
I'm like, I'm going to murder you,
Who's the most likely to cry during an emotional testimony?
Stephanie.
Oh,
I was Stephanie.
I would say Stephanie or me.
So, yeah, I would say her, and then me.
Okay, that's
and that
the
would
order.
be Stephanie for those that are actually not watching. Stephanie, Jenna, then me would
There
be
we go.
the order of crying.
Awesome. Okay, you crushed it. Well, way to go.
Good job.
All right. Hey, let's get a little deeper here with each of you guys. I would be real curious to hear about something like personally that God has been teaching maybe each of you lately that's maybe been surprising. Is there anything that you feel like God's been showing you that has, because you as a Christian or as a pastor's wife, as a minister, leader, whatever, sometimes you feel like it can become, typical. It can become rote. And then, man, the Lord comes out of nowhere and he teaches you something new and it's surprising and it's cool. You guys feel like y'all have been experienced anything like that, like lately?
Oh, Jessica is staring me in the face. I guess it's my turn. That's how she works. You just do what she says.
Yep.
When is this episode coming out?
June,
Oh.
mid-June.
Oh, you can do. You
Okay,
can talk. You
okay.
can talk. Josh will get be like one of the first people to
Josh,
hear.
Yeah.
you should feel
We're
very
breaking
special right
news.
now. Okay.
Good.
So, for those of you listening, you'll find this out for the first time, obviously, too. But me and my husband are actually about to change churches. My husband took a job at a new church. And if you know me, you know that this was like, no, absolutely not. I don't even want to pray about it because I'm scared of what the answer will be. This is like the church that we are currently at in this moment. Sunday is my last day, and my husband will be there for an extra Sunday. So it's a little bittersweet because we love our church so much. And we literally thought that this church would be in game for us. Like we were going to be ministry leaders at this specific church for life. So, and this is all super fresh and new, but I think one thing that the Lord has taught me over and over and over again over the last 3 or 4 years since doing this podcast ministry is that even when you are scared to death of what he's asking you to do, even when you don't know what's on the other side of it, is if you know he's asking you to do it and he's shown you that, and it's obvious that he's shown you that, then you have to say yes. And when you do say yes, he will 100% bless that obedience on the other side, even when it doesn't make sense. And my husband and I, we know for a fact that this was the Lord that moved us because, like I said, the Lord showed us within a week and gave us so much peace about this decision when it did not make sense because we were like, absolutely not. So I think just knowing what he's done over the last 3 or 4 years and how he's blessed those decisions of obedience when he's asked us to do something, you know, for me, speaking on a stage is something I said I would never do, ever. I was scared to death of it. But when I said yes and did it anyway, he came through. And so I can't argue with that. You know, when God shows up and shows out when you've said yes, even though you were scared, you just can't argue with that. And so I'm just so thankful that he's growing me in that way. So this was an easier decision than it could have been.
Mhm.
And it's just so cool to like see how he's shown us that this is what was next and how much peace we've had in this season of making this decision. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm assuming you have a lot of people hearing this who they probably find themselves in the middle of that kind of question mark part of what's God doing. So anything practical, just any kind of, you know, someone's hearing this and they're like, oh my gosh, I can totally relate. Like next step that you feel like you can encourage them towards to just kind of help them in that part of their journey.
I mean, I would say, practically, like, I will be honest and tell you that there have been times when I've needed to make a decision and my first thought hasn't been, Lord, what do you think about this? It's been, what do I feel about this? And that's selfish and human. And obviously we can all go there, but simply just asking him, like, Lord, what do you have for me in this season? And then looking and listening for him to answer, because he will do it. He will do it either through something you read. He will do it through something that happens through a friend. Cause I was questioning for, you know, a couple weeks and I, you know, talked to these two about it multiple times, and they told me, well, the first red flag is you're not praying about it because you're scared of what the answer would be. They were like, Jenna, come on. And then I started, you know, telling them some other things that I thought maybe the Lord was speaking to me because I'm in my head a lot.
Oh, it was so obvious.
And they both literally, as I read something that I had just read to them, they looked at each other and then looked back at me and just busted out laughing. Like, are you kidding me, Jenna? Like you're saying that you don't think that the Lord's speaking to you, but hello. So just very obvious things that I think I was just in my head about. So I would say definitely if you're in that season, like ask God to show you what's next. Ask him to give you a sign of some sort. I truly believe in that.
Yeah.
Because he'll do it.
I also hear the importance of making sure there's people in your life, one, that
100%
you can talk to about stuff like that.
Yes.
But two, the importance of those people being the kind of people that are going to point you to God. They're going to point you to prayer and to his word, and not just like, well, what's going to make you happy, you know? And I think that's really sweet that you have that in these guys.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mine's, you can think on yours. Mine's pretty quick. I would say two things. Just learning more. Just super passionate right now about spiritual gifts, which these ladies know. Like every time I'm meeting with people at the church, I'm just really excited to get people to take the test, to lean into what God's teaching them and to use your spiritual gifts. I love to encourage and challenge people. So like the spiritual gift thing that God's just been laying on my heart to make sure that people know their worth and know that they have gifts that they're not accessing because they're not allowing the Holy Spirit to lead. And so really challenging people to move into that direction and stop living a life for themselves and start living it for the glory of God. And so it's just been really beautiful to watch as I'm leading my teams through that, and also fixing to lead, hopefully, the women's ministry through that. Not quite sure how it's going to happen to all the women, but I just think that Jesus is gathering the troops. And I think that the American church is going to be found wanting because they don't know their spiritual gifts, and they're not accessing, and they're not living a life fully for him. And so we need to, as leaders, encourage everyone to start doing that and start abiding, because war is coming and it's here. And so I'm not going to send troops into battle with no armor, no knowledge and wisdom of the Lord to go fight a battle that they're going to lose without knowing these things. So yeah, I would say that's
good. Gosh. Okay. So several things sort of even tied to the spiritual gifts, because we have been talking about that so much, but just recognizing that for so long, I have been fearful of feeling emotions and like sitting with them. I do feel them very deeply, but like almost annoyed if I cry. I'm like, why are you crying? Stop crying. Like, don't let them see you cry. You know what I mean? Like that feeling of like, I don't want to be seen, like really seen and that sort of thing. But I've come to see that the Lord has given me this gift to feel a lot of times what other people are feeling, very deep empathy. But then once again, I was shutting that down.
Mhm.
Don't feel it because it's too much, it's too hard, it's too awkward. And so lately he's been specifically putting people in my life every week. Like even this, I mean, I had to access that a lot this week actually, of the mercy, the gift of mercy, where I mean, like literally sitting with people and weeping with them
Mhm.
and allowing them to weep and to say that it's okay and to do it together and just to be with them, whether it's just holding their hand. I mean, I've done that in the hospital floor with somebody I didn't even know. And I'm just like on the floor with them holding her hand and we're both crying and I'm just with her and praying over her. Literally, he keeps bringing up these opportunities and it's not in my comfort zone either because it's older people. Whereas we work with youth and college and career. And yes, the Lord has been really pushing me to college and career, but I have noticed that more adults and more of the older adults, the elderly even, and just being with them and seeing them and feeling like the Lord keeps saying, see that person, look at that person. Even like a random lady at Walmart who needed dinner one night. And I just stopped and felt like the Lord said, go see what she needs. And so I had to walk back in. And that's not like I'm an Enneagram 3. We talk about Enneagrams. Like I want to get stuff done and get my checklist done. But the Lord has been really impressing on my heart to stop and see people. And so like I had to stop. I had to go talk to her. And just the interaction I had with her as we were talking and walking about Jesus and like everything, I was like, okay, Lord, I see what you're doing. And so I guess that's the biggest thing right now.
So
It's just
cool.
seeing people.
That's awesome. As you were sharing that, I was thinking about how you can, write an amazing book, or you can give like share an amazing message, and people can be excited, and it just still the impact. I mean, when you really think about it, like even from our own experiences, doesn't seem to hold a candle to what it's like when you are broken and suffering and just overwhelmed by your circumstances, and somebody just like sits and like cries with you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
And I mean, that's such and to me, again, like, you and I are very similar in that whole Enneagram 3 thing. Like that has to be the Holy Spirit's work in my heart to compel me to like sit with someone and just kind of be with them in that moment.
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you guys, just kind of along those same lines, you guys have each other now. It's fun to watch y'all's friendship, through y'all's content and things like that. Real quickly, just kind of tell me a little bit about how this has really impacted you guys. Like how is this, the friendships, the ministry, like tell us a little bit about, how one another has, impacted your life, made your faith stronger.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead.
All I was going to say is all I can think of is iron sharpens iron. I've never had this kind of sharpening.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to say that no one has ever sharpened me, but I'm saying because of how close this ministry has brought us and how we've had to talk through hard things and really be seen by each other. Like I can say I'm better for it, way better for it than I've ever been, way stronger spiritually, all of it because of them.
Yeah. I mean, I can echo that for sure. It's special. It really, truly is. I've grown, more spiritually since we've started this ministry than in my entire life. And I'm so thankful that I have them in my life because they challenge me in the most amazing ways. And like to where I don't get like, offended. And if I do get offended, like there's grace for that. And they're going to love me anyway, but we just challenge each other, I think in the best ways. And I just can't imagine, can't imagine life without them. I'm going to get emotional. So
well, they went serious. So I'll do the funny, like our fun part. I think it's super fun to find people that are your ride or dies, like for real, like I think people can say they're your ride or dies until they like leave. And so it's really nice to be able to be fully yourself. I mean, I said that earlier in the podcast, but it's really freeing. It's freeing to be around a group of people that there is no walls. There's nothing. Like you can say anything, do anything, and they still see you and love you for that. And also there's just like this, I don't know, it's like your best vacation day. You're just sitting by the beach where there's just not a care in the world. Like you can come in with a lot of cares to this group right here, but also still feel so relaxed because you're with people that just love you no matter what.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just the big thing is like we can just laugh a lot. Laughter is so healing and people are not laughing. People take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And I believe that Jesus, when he walked this earth, was hilarious. I think that when he was with his disciples, he was making jokes and, you know, scaring them. And who knows what little cool miracles he could just do that just was for them and not for scripture, you know, to just be funny and laugh because there was so much serious. And so I think that people think that being funny and goofy is not spiritual or that, but I believe that if you live such a serious life, like people are going to be afraid of you. Like there are going to be things about you that are going to not be welcoming. So when you enter into this space, it's just welcoming and it's just freeing. And like you can come in with no cares, even if like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like the imagery of Jesus playing tricks on his disciples.
Oh, 100%.
Like popping out and saying boo.
I mean, because you have to know that there's more than what's just in the scripture. I mean, there's a time to laugh.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I think
Just saying.
John's the one that says that. He's like, hey, if we put everything into a book, the world couldn't hold all the books it would take.
For
to
sure.
write all the
Yeah.
stories. And-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. You compared y'all's friendship to a vacation on the beach. Is that kind of your ideal vacation?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's well
Okay.
To me and Jessica, it is.
I would say that's Jenna's number one. That's close to my number one. I just want to see everything. I want to just travel the world. But yeah, if it's just like a quick, like, hey, you want to go here? Yeah, the beach or the mountains camping is just like, but I am
She can't
really
choose. There's
I
a
can't
lot.
choose. I just want to be everywhere.
Well, beach is up there, but also like any like big, cool cities with a cool vibe.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, we all know NYC. But also, I would go to other big cities. Like, and now that I'm not scared to fly, well, I get a little scared, but I can survive. I would totally want to fly over and see like places that, you know, I've never seen before, like London or, you know, just other places elsewhere.
Yeah. I love it. So
Big
much.
cities.
What's the, when you say big city, is New York the one you go, that's the coolest place I've been?
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
By far. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool. We were in, we had a layover in Dubai once, which was kind of bananas. That's the only airport I think I've ever been to where if I had to live there, I would, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I just, if America disappeared and I couldn't get into the other country and had passport issues and they're like, you have to live here. Like, okay.
It would be Dubai.
It would be. I gotcha.
Yeah. That was the plot to The Terminal. Remember that movie with Tom Hanks?
Oh.
You guys like,
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, Stephanie, this question's for you. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Rapid fire. All right. Would you rather get stuck in a group text with all of the staff members or all the middle school moms?
Ooh. All the staff members. They're fun. It would be funny.
Okay. Next question. If your podcast had a blooper reel, which co-host would dominate it?
Definitely Jessica.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a lot of questions later, but this is rapid fire right now. So,
Oh,
who of the three of you guys thinks she's the funniest, and is she actually right?
Jessica thinks she's the funniest.
And I am.
And she is.
You said that you tied with one other person.
I do believe that we are all funny.
I think we're all funny.
I think we're all
in
funny.
our
I
own
think
way.
me and you tie for funniest.
Yeah,
And we can fight it later if you want.
for sure.
Wait, I'm sorry. You do think you and her are the funniest?
Yes.
We're about to throw down right now.
All right.
I'm Jim Carrey, remember? He's funny.
You do make some funny faces, that's for sure.
The best Jim Carrey scene of a movie, in my opinion, is in Ace Ventura 2
Okay.
when the safari bus is going by and he's doing the stakeout in the rhinoceros.
Yes. In fact, that is the only scene
that I can remember
from that movie that I can even remember.
Oh my gosh.
I can't
It's
even
so good.
remember any of the scenes, to be honest.
And
with you.
then
It's been
he
so
is
long.
birthed.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
you are
By the
him.
rhino.
So
Yes.
therefore, it's okay.
He's like on a reconnaissance mission, and then the AC goes out.
It's so great.
So good.
It leads to, yeah, it's the best scene. You can
Mhm.
find it on YouTube. It's hilarious.
We
That's
agree.
awesome.
Oh goodness.
Okay, guys. Tell me a little bit more about the Pastor's Wives Tell All. What has been your favorite moment together so far as a team? Like, give me some examples of just like, this was such a cool.
Go ahead. Stephanie's making noises.
I really loved our book release party so much that
special.
whole night. It was, I don't know.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
super
It was
cool.
like a dream.
it was.
Why don't
It
you
was
tell us a
special.
little bit about that? Tell us about the concept. Tell us about how it became a book and the process, and
Oh,
like
that's a lot.
walk us up to the party.
Oh, walk us up to the party. Well,
Yeah.
that was random. One day we were meeting and we said, what if we wrote a book for pastors' wives? And at first we had this concept of like, pastors' wives do it too. And each chapter would be something that we do.
I thought it was great,
too.
but it got turned down.
It
It's
did.
fine.
But I will say the concept, each chapter was still like that though.
Yes.
Pastors' wives, fake headaches too, you know, et cetera, et cetera. That's
Pastor's Wives, what? They were?
fake headaches
Oh,
too. That was really one of the chapters.
We were
You
talking.
should read it.
I love that she had to repeat it.
yeah, me too. You were trying to get it by it real quick, and I was like, no,
She
you gotta enunciate.
Pastors' wives have tattoos too.
Yes, things like that.
Yeah.
And so we did keep that concept, which is, you know, a look behind the scenes, but also encouragement for those who are going into ministry and telling them what to expect or what expectations should not be put on them or what, you know, they should feel or think or not feel, but just everything, all the behind the scenes stuff that people don't talk about. We wanted to talk about it and make it into a book because some of the books, they all prim and proper. And we just feel like
We ain't prim and
we ain't
proper.
prim and proper.
Proper.
Oh, and so leading up to the party, because we love fun and dancing and all of the things, we definitely had group dances.
That's so fun.
Like Cupid Shuffle and things. So that was super fun. And we got to like read from our book, of course. And it was entertaining because how could we not be entertaining while reading? Right?
Not
Exactly.
me. Yeah.
Yes.
You want to know something else really cool about the party?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Our tattoo guy, Zach. Shout out to Zach. He came to support us,
It was
Yeah.
so
It's
precious.
great.
and he stayed the entire time.
And he has our sticker at his tattoo
Uh-huh.
shop too, which
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
we
He's
love him.
awesome.
What's up, Zach?
What's up, Zach?
Thanks for your support, brother.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
So where did like the retreats and stuff fit in? Was that happening before or after the book?
That was
Before.
before the book.
Mhm.
I think the Lord just slowly like gave us the dreams. I remember sitting at the cabin with our husbands and dreaming a bunch of things, and some of those, like Jenna said, were like, that's not happening, you know. And I don't think it could have happened when we were having dream sessions at the cabin years ago. The Lord had to mold and shape us and build our confidence and our unity and everything.
We started with meetups.
Yeah, meetups.
Lunch meetups.
So we would just like, if we were traveling somewhere, we'd be like, hey, we're going to be in Texas at this place. The first 15 spots for the breakfast spot we picked, sign up and meet us there. So we did that a lot.
Yeah.
And we
It was fun.
loved it. And we would bring them sweet little gifts and just conversate. There was no agenda. And then the retreats, we just love to pour into pastors' wives. We were loving that time with them. And we were hearing that through the Facebook community groups and just the DMs that we would get and the people we would talk to, is that they were lonely and they needed a space to be encouraged and to build friendships, and then just to be able to get outside of their box and share some things that they felt like they couldn't share in their own hometown. And so we did a 1-day retreat at the cabin where we first podcast and we had our dream days. We had a 1-day retreat, and it was so crazy because we literally had people fly in for a 1-day retreat. Fly in
from Maine, one
Fly
person.
and we were just like,
What is
at
happening?
the end of it, it was such a great day. The women loved it. They were like refreshed and encouraged. And we were like, yes, like this is the next step. Like we have to start having retreats. And so it's just been beautiful. I wish I could do them like 5 times a year, 7 times a year, 10 times a year. I just love them so much.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But we do have a couple coming up. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah, that's exciting. I know a big like theme for you guys is encouragement. You're wanting people, listeners to feel like seen. You want them to feel heard. So, you got a lot of people listening right now. So if you could encourage one listener who's struggling or feeling unseen or worn out, just exhausted, what would you want to say to them today? What would you want them to hear?
You don't have to strive. You don't have to be something more than what God has created you to be. You just tap into your spiritual gift, your calling, whatever that may be, and just do that. You don't have to do everything. Set some things down. It's okay to say no.
Yeah. And you are seen, even when you don't feel like you are, you're seen by him. And that's all that matters. So,
yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, I couldn't say it any better. They did an amazing job.
I love that. And I love that that's the heartbeat of what you guys are doing. Is there anything coming up, anything down the road? What's next for the Pastors' Wives who tell all?
We have our first hometown retreat at the end of June. So that's going to be super fun because it's right here. Literally, we could walk to it from all of our houses.
Yeah.
And it's the same place that we had our book signing, which is really cool.
Okay.
And it's
so
beautiful.
It's a similar retreat style, but it's right there, right in your
right here.
Okay.
We've never done one like locally. We've always gone other places for other hostesses. So
and then we have another one in Ohio again in September. And then, I mean, I think the biggest thing is we just, are just kind of allowing the Lord we have some things we're going to talk through with the speaking, just getting ready for more speaking engagements. I think we want more of those, but we just got to kind of figure out what we want and how to get it out there.
And we've got a few that have talked about this next year, maybe. So we'll see. But yeah, we're just taking it one step at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love what you guys do. On behalf of all of your fans, thank you. Please keep it coming. All right. And thanks for having me on here today.
Thanks for having so much fun.
This was fun. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I liked it. And your rapid fire high five on that one.
Yes. Maybe we should just have Josh interview us each season for funsies like this.
Yeah. For sure.
I love it.
I'm 100% down.
He's the fourth time.
He's going to sign it in the air. It's going to happen. Go ahead.
Oh,
don't sign Josh. Sign Al.
Sign Al Borland or Josh?
Oh,
Josh.
Yeah,
that's all right. I'll sign Jim Carrey.
And then it was a period. With
there we go.
There we go.
Okay. Liked it.
Well, thanks, Josh, for interviewing. It was so much fun, and you did an amazing job. And hopefully, everyone learned a little something new today.
That's right. And guys, we'll be back with one more bonus episode in July. Stay tuned, and then after that, we shall start our next season in August. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Until then, bye.
Okay, friends, if you have enjoyed this episode as much as we have, please help us spread the word on Facebook and Instagram.
If you didn't know yet, Instagram is where all the fun is at. From dance reels on Wednesdays to spiritual encouragement and laugh out loud posts in between, there is something for everyone.
And last but certainly not least, if you could take a moment right now to stop what you're doing and give us a rating and review, even subscribe to our podcast, this seriously helps other people find us who wouldn't be able to otherwise. Thank you so much for your love and support. We hope you'll tune in next week.